Hello.
Welcome
to FDI Takeover. I'm your host, Alex Smith.
And I'm your other host, Karen Ryan.
FDI Takeover! It's a disaster. That was so bad.
We're trying, but the jingle's getting better. Stay on a positive note.
I don't think anybody thinks it's getting better.
It is what it is. If you have a little, jingle for us and something musical, send it to us.
Yeah, we need somebody to write us a little intro.
For sure.
And then we'll sing it.
Yeah.
Because we're both singers.
We're both singers.
Tell everybody about you, Karen.
Okay. So, hi, I am Karen Ryan. I am
Italian as fuck.
Italian AF. Always have my guns out. And
Put those away. But it's okay, actually, because we're in Florida.
Yeah, we're in Florida, so I have a conceal and carry, and buying my gun before the end of the year, just to let y'all know. You need to step it up. I have 4 children, my 3 daughters, and my son. Alex like, no gun. That's okay. It is what it is. I am a serial entrepreneur, networking master. When I meet somebody, I think about how connecting the dots I can to somebody else to help them help somebody else. So it's been like this my whole life. I'm in network marketing. I am affiliated with 2 amazing nutraceutical companies. I have several businesses on my own, and I'm always coming up with a brand new idea. I'm not the one to come up with the product. I'm the one to have the idea and brand on it. So I call myself, a woman entrepreneur for real. Moved from Chicago to Atlanta, and then Atlanta to finally Florida by the ocean, where I have met several mermaids, such as Alex and my other friends, and some really great people. This last 6 months of me being here, I really appreciate, everything. I believe in living in the moment. I'm a certified yoga, meditation instructor, director, and a wellness practitioner. I'm a huge advocate for mental health, especially men's mental health. So I bring to the table a lot of value. I'm a child of God, and I am a student of life. And now we're going to introduce Alex.
Hi, my name's Alex. I'm 32. I'm single as all fuck. I am living my best life. I have traveled all over the world. I run multiple businesses. I am living freely and having so much fun. My birthday's coming up.
Yes.
I'm such a lunatic birthday person, but I'm really excited for the big 3-3. Yes, I think it's going to be such a great year. Libra season.
It is Libra season, and Alex is single AF. I too am single, by the way. However, she is single and ready to mingle.
I don't know about that.
Making new friends, whatever.
Yes, making new friends, trying to find people that are on my level. And we're going to talk about this because I think that a lot of where we are at and who we surround ourselves with depends on where we are, right?
Absolutely.
So it's you can meet people every single day. I'm a very open-minded person. I'm super friendly. I'll talk to anybody. I'll try anything twice, whatever. Don't judge me. But I think that finding people that are on the same level as where you are now is also something that I'm running into challenge-wise, but also I feel really good about the path that I'm on, and I'm just going deep. Like, that's what I've been doing the last couple of years, being single AF, is just doing all of this self-work, health, wellness, healing, business.
I was going to say your health and your wealth, building yourself business-wise as a female boss babe, by the way.
Yes. Welcome to the episode where it's about boss babes ruling the world.
Yes.
To Beyonce, who runs the world? Girls.
Who runs the world? Girls.
That's right.
Yes.
Don't forget.
Do not forget. So we both come from a very similar mindset. Alex and I are a few years in between. However, we're intellectually brought together by that attraction of motivation and wanting to be better than we are right now and keep moving forward. We both are students of life. We both are open-minded to other things, but nothing's going to drag us down. We're going to continue to migrate forward in a continual motion of learning who we are and how we can be better at who we are and never stopping. There's no glass ceiling with us. So Alex has been in business, which she's going to talk about for a long time. I raised 4 children, got married at the age of 21, was a stay-at-home mom for many years, and then ventured off on my own to where I found entrepreneurship my only way to be. I cannot be in an actual setting of an office. It just isn't really good for my mental health. I'm a person that has just creativity and aspirations of being out there. So I've been involved in multiple businesses that I've helped through my, past relationships and in my own life, which brings me here today. Alex is a massive boss babe in technology, and I can't wait for y'all to hear her story. When her and I first met, I knew on an intellectual level and from her heart that the two of us were going to do great things together. So,
yes, we
Alex,
are.
tell us about you and your technology background.
Maybe we have to back it up because this whole episode is about boss-ass women, what it means to celebrate other women, what it means to be a woman in leadership, what it means to be a woman entrepreneur, and really what it means to be a woman. So I think it would be so fun if we talked about maybe our first jobs.
Oh, plot twist.
Yes. Well, I just think
All right, you go first.
Okay. Because who I am today is nothing without understanding where I've come from. It has totally built the foundation and roots for where I am today. And we have to be reflective for a minute. And I invite everybody who's listening to this, be reflective. When was your first job? What was your first job? For me personally, I was 14. I worked at a French restaurant down in South Florida. I think it was like my first boyfriend of all time or first guy that my parents at least let me hang out with. And his mom was super Italian. And I was like, I want to work. And she's like, I got a job for you. And she hooked me up, and I was the bus girl. So I cleaned up the trash. I picked everybody's plates up. All the French people at this restaurant used to just like scream at me, but then they would tip me more money than I'd ever seen in my life. And I worked there for over a year, and I just remember being so silent and so obedient. But I learned so much by all the different people culturally that used to come into that restaurant. But that was my first job. What about you, Karen? What was your first job?
Oh my gosh, I love that. Well, I do, silent and obedient. So basically, if you think about it.
I'm not like that anymore.
No. But
broke that chain.
cut that rope a long time ago. Big line in the sand on that one. No, but silent and obedient, like you listened to, let's repurpose that, your mentors and people that were telling you what to do, and you were so open as a sponge to learn, and how were you going to make it through that situation. My first job, I was 11 years old. 11, and I wanted a job and I wanted to make money. And I knew that at the age of 11. I knew that before that. So my mom was working for a company, and she had met a friend who had a baby. And I just started babysitting at the age of 11. I was 11, and I babysat, nannied for $2 an hour. A newborn baby.
Ballin'.
Yes. I'd be rolling.
Yeah, girl.
Making money.
$2.
$2 an hour. And actually for a cop back in the neighborhood I grew up in, and they would go out, they get wasted. They come home, he'd drive me home, I'd be in the front seat, he's like,
and it's okay, I'm a cop.
At the end of the night, I made $12. I was so happy. Like, I had $12. But I took that $12 and I saved it. And then the next Friday, it was another $12. So at the age of 11, I was basically making like almost $50. I was happy. My second job, I do have to share this. I was 15, and I went to the Olympic Theater, which was in my neighborhood. It was a movie theater. And I wrote a little note. Hi, I'm Karen Lucchese, and I need to work. And I slipped it under the door, the window. They hired me as a popcorn girl. So I started making popcorn on Friday and Saturday nights. I had to clean the windows with vinegar and water. Everything had to be perfect. An Italian family, they were so hard on me. The son was massively in love with me. He used to drive me home after work so I got home safe, because my dad was not able to pick me up for a multitude of reasons. But I got home safe.
Not well?
Not in a well space. And I made it home, and I was making money. And at that point, I was making $3.25 an hour. But guys, grateful to be working and hardworking, making my own money. And that's where I started to understand who I was and that I can make my own money.
So it starts young. And, I don't come from a family that has money, very hardworking blue-collar family here in the Southeast. And I, for sure, if I ever wanted to do anything and I was like, Dad, I want to go to the movies. He's like, great, just go out there and wash every car. And then you can have $5 to go to the movie. And I was like, okay, perfect. And so I just knew early on the concept of what it meant to work hard and be rewarded for whatever systematic people. I know we have some big conspiracy people out there that maybe listen to us, or people who are really into or not into the systematic reward system that we have, which totally helps us and hurts us at times. So I have to acknowledge that. However, it is the foundation of my work ethic. I have, from a very early age, always acknowledged the fact that in order for me to receive or to grow there is a level of work ethic that has to be put into what you're doing.
Absolutely. That brings to me about being accountable for who you are, for showing up, for being on time, for managing time. Okay.
You want to talk about this?
I'm going to go right there. A huge struggle of mine, I'm going to bring it into work ethic, is being on time. I was raised always chasing time, and there was never enough time, and it was a massive anxiety in my life. And for a long time, I was not on time. I was always at school late. My mom brought me to school late. I was always showing up late. As I was raising my children, they were late, or I wasn't showing up on time, and it was like we talked about in a previous episode. Generational. How do you break that tie? And it's definitely, it's a huge thing because there's no respect for time. I had to stop and understand that other people's time, I have to respect. It's not about me and that there's enough time, but the other person's expecting me to be there. And that starts to draw your work ethic in. Showing up for yourself, showing up presentable, and being a person who can communicate with others and who can be silent and obedient. You're going to have a boss where you need to keep your mouth quiet and listen to the instruction and be that person in that position. And I think it's important for us to talk about that and also understand, which we're going to get into, being a female in the workforce isn't as easy as some might think, but you can make it to the best of your ability by showing up like a boss with your strong work ethic, with your morals, with your values, knowing your worth, and using your voice.
And it's all about reading the room. You have to understand what kind of work environment you're setting yourself up to be in, because there are some other work environments that don't necessarily require you to be obedient or silent. However, those characteristics are definitely part of the process of being able to be someone who is successful in the work that they do. You can't just flap your mouth all the time and run your opinion about everything. There are times where you need to listen and learn something new, put your opinion aside, and see through someone's vision or someone's instruction for you. And I think people who are coachable, people who are confident, and people who are adaptable, those are some of the most important characteristics, I think, of people who are successful. What do you think are some of the most important characteristics?
No, I absolutely love that. When you said being adaptable, I just think of a chameleon, that's someone who could change colors like any situation. When you're open-minded in your perspective, your whole perspective is like you want to do the best and be the best that you can in a role, in a position, in a job, you have to stay open-minded. You can't be closed off, and you can't let other people say things about you or direct you in a certain way. Just be open-minded. For me, in the workforce, it's a huge accomplishment as a woman. I worked with all men in one position that I was in, all men. They would all show up in their...
It's literally my everyday life.
Yeah.
For as long as I've ever known working is with all men.
Just men. And I worked at a job, and I'm going to leave names out, but I was in sales, and I had to go into the marketplace and sell a certain service. And I would come to work with black pants, a black shirt, a blazer, and dress myself like the guys. And I was part of the guys. I would hear them talk about their wives and talk about things in life, and I was just one of the guys. Until one day, somebody hit on me, and it wasn't a pretty sight because I wasn't going to have that in the workplace. So I had to stand up for myself, correct them, and know that that door can never be closed. There was always going to be a door open with somebody else, the third person listening in on what's happening, which is a little point I want to make. No matter what position you're in a workplace, if someone's going to be speaking to you, you always need a third party there for validation and for somebody to be there as a witness to what's being said. So as a woman, I was told, you're a mom, and your time is like, dwindling here. If your child is sick, you're not going to come to work. No, I'm going to show up because I'm going to show up for myself and for my kids, and I'm here for a reason. It was a hustle. I just had to hustle and work really hard to make it known that because I am a woman has nothing to do with what I'm going to produce. And by the way, in 6 months, I raised the sales for that company by 26%.
Boss. I love that. And as women, we have to work 10 times harder to get our work showcased, to have value in the work that we do. And it's one of the things that I think empowers me. And then it's also the thing that breaks me down at night. I have my moments where I am really empowered by the fact that I'm one of the only females constantly on leadership working in technology. And then there's other times where I let that be the thing that drags me down. And I ask why, which is one of the reasons why I love to hire diverse, inclusive teams. I love to hire women. I think there needs to be more women in leadership, especially in sales. It's been a boys' club for a very long time. One of my favorite books that I highly recommend everyone checks out. Men and women can totally learn from this book. It's called Breaking Up with the Boys Club in Silicon Valley by Emily Chang, who works for Bloomberg. She is Awesome. But she went in and investigated all of the fucked up shit that happens within tech companies, starting with, they call it the PayPal mafia, which are people who have historically been rooted in a lot of Silicon Valley's success, started at PayPal. And then they went and built these other companies like Uber and some of these other massive companies that you're already aware of, Facebook, Google, whatever it is. And then also, Joe Toscano did The Social Dilemma on Netflix, which is one of the most important documentaries that you can ever watch on Netflix, that exposes all of the different crazy things that are happening within these tech organizations. And while I live and breathe and work in that area, don't think for a second that that doesn't keep me up at night and it doesn't have its challenges. However, going back to being a woman, you have to watch what you say. You have to watch how you say it. I've been, people, I literally asked, here's a couple situations. I've never worked for a female leader at all in my life. Like, I've never had a direct boss who is a female. I've always had male bosses. That is something that I know that I'm going to change. We've talked about this. You've heard me go on tangents about this. But I literally had, someone say to me the other day, I just said, hey, can you look over this proposal? And the response back to me was, don't stress, Alex. It's like, why is that the predisposed? Or someone had said to me, it was a compliment, right? This was supposed to be a compliment. Alex, you're really punching above your weight right now. Oh. And I was like, hello, I know how to do this. You're just not paying me for it. So there's so many different microaggressions that are always happening as women in the workplace. And these things are everywhere. So it's about navigating them with care, knowing that there is a shift in the world that's happening. I think you've said this before. Yeah. Women in business are like the phoenix rising right now.
Absolutely, we are. Because I'll tell you what, ever since the beginning of time, men don't want to admit to this, but yes, the man is the protector, the provider, the safety net of the family. The woman is the one that holds everything together. And recently, a very good friend of mine examined this subject with me and said, the woman is the spine of the household. Without the spine, everything will fall, right? So you've got the woman that's holding everything together. The man is bringing it, but the woman's organizing it. It takes a very amazing woman to make a man just that amazing. We are strong. People look at like the physicality of a man being stronger than a woman. We give birth. You only come into this world through a woman. There's nothing else stronger than that. In the workplace, it's always the level of success, how much money you're making, or what's your title, or who you are in this company. People they just, they own up to it. But if you're a female, just like you said, like they're playing on your hormones. Men have hormones too. Don't mess with us. We know what we're doing. We're bringing to the table a lot of value. Do not discount us, because without us, there will not be that balance in the workplace. There just isn't. There isn't. Two men in a room, they're going to make that one-way decision. Some women in the room are going to kind of fluff it up a little bit and be like, hey, what about this perspective, that perspective? But we are bosses at the end of the day. We are the CEOs of our home. We're the CEOs of our life. We're the CEOs of learning how to adapt ourselves in a world that was based all on men. A foundation. We have a voice, we have a purpose, and we will not be held down.
No, and I love to empower women that are on my team that are navigating their career. The biggest thing is to believe in yourself. So many of us women have been taught to be small, or to be ladylike, or to be less than. That's been programmed since the day that we were born. That is socially constructed all throughout childhood, from the colors that we're told to wear, from the things that we're told to watch, from the ways that we're told to behave. So when we get onto the workforce, it's difficult to navigate, hey, I have an opinion and I think it should be done this way, or hey, I don't agree. Women have such a hard time disagreeing with their counterparts, even though so many organizations like to say, we encourage that, we love that, bring innovation, bring change. You can't bring innovation and you cannot bring change if you don't have people challenging the way that your systems and processes are setting up. And women are just starting to scratch the surface on finding their voice to do so, which is one of the reasons why I'm also successful at what I do, but also one of the things that keeps me up at night. But I am that person, for sure. I am the one person in the room thinking long-term. I had a very good mentor of mine recently. I called her. I told her I was in a place because my other female counterpart on one of my cross-functional teams is on maternity leave. And so it's just been men. I love my guys. I love them so much. I love my cross-functional partners, but there is something to be said about the gender inequality that happens when you go into group settings constantly throughout the day where you are the only woman. There is a different way of operating on both sides that are inherent to us. And so I called my mentor and I said, I need a new approach, or I don't know how to approach people because I've just got an attitude and I don't want them to see me so emotional. But I feel like I'm at a point where they're leaving me out of conversations. They're not including me in decisions. I'm a department head. I have a whole department that can be impacted from changes that are made. So I talked to her and she goes, here's what you need to do, Alex. Number one, you need to figure out what your non-negotiables are. Have a few. And when you get into the room, know what those are and know when you need to pull those out. Number two, be the person in the room that is the one person thinking long term. That is your superpower. And number three, make sure that you always share with the person that you're speaking with why it's important for them to invest in what it is that you're proposing. What's in it for them? Why is this going to make their team better? And when she gave me that information, I said, thank God. I had a whole new approach for the entire week on what it is that I was going to do. I showed up in these meetings and there was one thing that I told them, guys, this is my one non-negotiable for my team. I must have this as we go into the next quarter. And it changed everything. It was amazing.
I have chills. Just listening to you empowers me so much. I mean, if I could go back X amount of years of my life and have that beautiful boss babe attitude that you have, which I had inside me, I just didn't speak it, right?
Well, you have to be taught, coached, mentored.
We've come a long way with this.
We don't know a lot of women that are high up, that are also mothers and successful. We're still like uncovering who those people are. It's not like we grew up with them. And if you did, that's a privilege and a blessing because I've never seen that.
No, I love that. You have to fight your way in this world. You have to fight for what you believe in. You have to stand up and be your number one advocate and not let anybody else's opinion cast a view on you or hold you back. And so many times people will have an opinion of us or think we're a certain way, or they know maybe something vulnerable about us or something from our past, and they hold it against us, and people stop and they just can't get past it. You have to break those chains. And listening to is just such an important value that you're bringing to the world, because if you ask questions, you'll get the answers. And when you receive those answers, you will implement them in your way, in your structure, in your value, in your work ethic.
Yes. And that's the other thing, tried and true, work ethic. We do have to work twice as hard. Yeah. And one of the things that I think women have a very hard time doing is being vocal. And I know that that's not necessarily an innate quality for people who might be intrinsically motivated versus extrinsically motivated. And when you are obviously operating from motivation on the inside, the reality is that you still have to show people the work that you're doing. You have to be proud of it. You have to learn how to articulate what it is that you own and what you're doing. And that's a new concept for women, as we've always been told to kind of be obedient and say yes and nod your head and smile because you don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. Don't rock the boat. Fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that.
Rock that boat and find an environment that lets you do that. To be authentic is a very difficult thing to find within an organization. So I understand right now I'm speaking again from a place of privilege that I can do that. So there is a certain point, right? I was quiet for a certain amount of years. We've all been there. But then when you know something and you see something, say something.
When you say something, you will never turn back because you're standing up for what you believe in. And guess what? There's a whole row of people behind you applauding you and thanking you for being that voice and using your voice to just scream, I cannot have this anymore, and this is how it's going to be, and you're going to lead the way. When you're silent, nobody knows what's happening, and it's just the same thing that happens and happens over and over again. So it's breaking the curse in the workplace. And, for like, you see like a lot of things like on Instagram and Facebook about, boss babes and, women in the, workplace and whatever. It's a lot for us to come to this platform and be like, hey, we're here, and hey, we can do it, and we do have a voice. And a lot of it happens on social media. And I know that there's a bad rap about social media, but it takes a lot of courage to get in front of a camera. It takes a lot of courage to put something online that other people are going to see that you're actually humbly believing in yourself and what you're doing. I think that there's a lot to be said for that as well.
Well, we've definitely learned that during this podcast. It's been very interesting. So, of course, we're new to this, right? We are doing this for the very first time. We both have like 3 other jobs, but we are doing this because we feel urgency in our heart. We feel a message from God that we have to send this message out to people. We have to help people. And this is a way for us to do that. And so we thank you. But with that being said, we've also experienced that. I can't tell you how many people who have had feedback for us. Oh, And it's like people that ain't doing shit, by the way.
Nothing.
You know, and it's just interesting. I feel we've been talking about this. There's nothing more vulnerable than what we're doing right now. We are sitting down. We are talking about our trauma. We are talking about our experiences. We don't edit anything that we're doing here. We sit down, we talk about it, and we release it out into the public to be judged. And it's just interesting because it's such a clear distinction of people who are like, fuck yeah, we love it, FTI. And then there's other people that it's like, well, you guys should do this and do that and do this and do that. And it's like,
start your own podcast. If you have something to say to us, we open the floodgates.
We're open-minded. Don't get me wrong.
Bring it to us. But here's the thing: and we're open to compliments and criticism. Absolutely.
Yes.
Shout out to the people that are there for us. Like, hey, you could kind of tweak this or do this, or we've had some really great, things from us. We're good for it all. But you can tell when somebody is coming from a place of
jealousy, envy.
Yeah, just
maybe a little bit anger,
all of it. It's like
when women should be supporting other women,
and don't look at us. The other thing I want to talk about, like the workplace and like dressing for the workplace. I have always dressed sassy, classy, and a little badassy. That's just my style. That's who I am. I'm not going to change who I am. I will, of course, be appropriate in certain situations, but don't take away who I am, like my style of who I am. A lot of women don't like that, and they become jealous when throughout my years, or they see what I'm doing, or how could you do this, or what made you, I'm doing it for me.
And also you get a lot of ageism.
I get a lot of ageism. For me personally, I look a lot younger than I am. So there's a huge amount of criticism and jealousy that comes my way. People think I'm younger than I am, and I'm not. And I'm just going to say it. Yeah, I'm 52. I'm going to be 53.
That's amazing.
I fucking love it.
Own it. I hope I look that good.
I own it. I've been on my amazing supplements, by the way, for the last 6 years, and I do use olive oil. I posted it today. I take a little bit of olive oil. I put it in my face. It works. Just, a little supple. I've never had any work done.
No Botox, no nothing, no plastic surgery,
nothing.
Just gorgeousness.
I love you. But I work out, and I work out hard at it. I do my running. I do my hits. I'm conscious of certain things that I eat and certain things that I just do in my life. I make a positive impact for myself. But the jealousy and the hatred you can leave at the door. I do not criticize. I don't judge anybody. And that's one thing that's come a long way for me. Like, you can look at somebody from the outside and kind of, like, what happened to them or what? No, I don't judge people anymore. The only judge that's going to judge me is the big guy upstairs. Until then, I am here to bring value and bring education to you, to not talk about somebody unless you've walked in their shoes. We all have a situation. We all come from certain different backgrounds, but nobody's situation is worse than the other. What's happened in my life is nothing worse that hasn't happened in your life. It's situational, what's going on. So just love each other, serve each other. And if there's something that you want to say, go ahead and fucking say it, but be ready for what's going to come your way, because you're going to say something to me, and I'm going to tell you right back exactly how I feel, and be ready for that conversation.
Yeah, consequences are negative and also positive. Yeah. Anything that you decide to do is going to have some sort of repercussion, and that can be good or that can be bad, and it's all relative. But coming back to what you were saying, I love to support other women, and I want other women to support other women. I don't understand a world where we are acting unkindly towards each other because of jealousy or insecurity, especially if we don't know someone. That's crazy to me, first and foremost. And I was talking to actually one of my really good friends the other day. I haven't seen her in 14 years, and I was asking her, how's so-and-so or so-and-so, who she used to be friends with, and she goes, oh, I'm not talking to either of them anymore. I started my own business. I have a wonderful, healthy relationship with my partner. I found that every single time that I would talk to them, it would be drama. It would be jealousy. They would put me in such a bad mood, and I really need to be in a good place to run this business successfully. And I looked at her and I said, fuck yes, I am so happy. I am so proud of you. I support you. I love everything that you're doing. And you have so much courage for what you just did. But we have to be doing also more of that. Because if you don't have women in your life and you are a woman and you don't feel like you're being supported by your group, you really have to make the conscious choice on saying, okay, it doesn't have to be cutting the cord forever, but maybe it's just a time where you need to remove yourself from that person for a little while because they are not in the same place as you.
Absolutely. That's the same mindset. Since the day we met, we have truthfully never gotten into an argument, Alex and I. We've had some maybe like little discussions and things like that, but we've never gotten to an argument. We've always been 100% true with each other, 100% honest. There's no competition. We encourage each other, but we just don't let things slide under the table. We keep each other accountable on every level, and I really appreciate that true love and that true friendship. Throughout my years of having friends in the workplace and, just personal relationships with, women that are my friends, I can tell you right now, there's 7 women including yourselves, I can say off the top of my head that are amazing. There's no competition. There's just clear empowerment, like happy for each other and lifting each other up. It's huge. When you're in the workplace, you have to stick together as your tribe, because if you allow somebody else to infiltrate your way of thinking or make you feel any less, you have to go back to your tribe. Just go back to the days of the Indians and cowboys. Like, how did everybody work it all out? They found their tribe, they found their people, they found their squad. It's the same thing. If you're on a team, you're playing a professional team, you're going for the team. When you're in the workplace, you're working for the team. You're all team mates on the same team, working for the same goal. It doesn't matter if you're a man or woman, you are equal in that space. And that's what we're trying to bring, value to, is people have to understand that. Do not tear each other down. Lift each other up and empower each other. And by the way, you'll have a happier day. You'll just be a happier person.
Yes.
Happier human. You'll be driving home, honking at people, hey, what's going on? Instead of, angry driving. You're going to be going home and wanting to make a great impact on your own self, your own life, whoever you're around. And we have to break this chaos in the world. People leave the day so destructive because they tore somebody else down. Lift each other up. You're going to lift the vibration for yourself.
Yes. I always walk away feeling happier and healthier when I know that I am serving people with kindness, whether you're a man, whether you're, non-binary, whether you're a woman, whatever it is. At the end of the day, it comes back to the humanity of kindness and compassion and empathy for the people that you're with, regardless of whatever gender that you're in. I think that there's obviously unique challenges that come up in these different gender roles that we exist within society, but like you said, at the end of the day, if we lead with these intentions, we're going to feel so much better about the path that we're on. And it also starts with us. And we have a social responsibility right now. The world needs better leaders. I'm going to say that one more time. The world needs better leaders. We are calling on you to be a leader in your home, be a leader in your community, be a leader in your workplace. And that means seeing something, saying something, finding your voice, using compassion and empathy as a tool to turbocharge your success. And that is going to be the vehicle of how you build a reputation and how you get to where you want to go and how you ultimately promote whatever product or service or yourself that you're trying to put out into this world.
Absolutely. It's taking responsibility and influencing. Those are the 2 words that came to mind when you were speaking. Take responsibility for yourself, take responsibility as a human on this planet to help others, and then influence people by your good actions and your intentions. It comes down to the simple basics of being a good person, being the leader so that other people follow. Not everybody's going to use their voice. There's going to be people stuck in the back that want to say something and they're not able to do it. If it's called upon you, you have to follow through with that. That's what your purpose and your value is. I really, truly believe that, to have the voice. Alex and I come on here. We literally talk from our heart, nothing scripted. And we just are bringing it literally brave and bold to you because this is what we've been called to do. And I don't know. Don't keep your mouth shut. Open it up.
FTI.
Just FDI it.
Fucking do it. Thank you, everyone, so much. We love and appreciate you. Thanks for listening into this episode on Boss Ass Babes and Women. We'll probably have a 2.0 at some point.
We will.
Peace and love.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.